Hi everyone, we're back again. This is second part of our series with Dr. Shailesh Mehta, and we're so glad that in the first round we covered initial part of 10 questions. Now we're going to go with the second round of 10 questions. And as you can see, the excitement that I have is crossing the roof because that's why I'm mumbling. So I'm going to just get started. All right, Dr. Mehta. So we've gotten into the segment which talks about building and non-negotiables. You've clearly built at scale, and we know that that aspect changes you. When you were scaling your business, what were your non-negotiables? Was it integrity, data discipline, talent quality, or risk control? Tell us.
So this is a very good question. Obviously, for me, what was non-negotiable or what is non-negotiable even today,
Mm-hmm.
whether I build a company or whether I invest in businesses, is I call the BGI index.
Okay.
And BGI index stands for B is for brain. So I have no fear of hiring people smarter than me.
Okay.
I just want smart people working for me. Uh, and so to me, brain is very important index. Many people are kind of uncomfortable recruiting people. They think they're smarter than them.
Hmm.
Not I'm saying all, many, some. I met quite a few although. So to me, brain is important. Second is the guts. G stands for guts. So the ability to speak up, the
Hmm.
question decisions, challenge recommendations, and not being afraid of this title or position in a meeting or environment. So even the most junior person, probably a customer service rep can challenge CEO that I disagree because I listen to customer more than you do.
Hmm.
So you should not have fear that do not question the authority. This is an area, if you ask me overall, young people in India have to be very clear that this old discipline injected by the Britishers and continued by the subsequent governments that do not question the authority even the suggestion is idiotic or not practical. So someone who says, look, I disagree with you, one should not be offended. It should
Hmm.
be a constructive district. But it should be a constructive criticism, not a destructive criticism.
Hmm.
Some people suggestions or say, look, you're talking about this way, but I suggest we should go this way.
Hmm.
That's a constructive. You say, well, I totally disagree with you, and your idea is totally unacceptable. That's debate. That's a sort of a confrontation. So confrontational objection, that's not constructive. But constructive criticism, constructive challenge. So that's the gut someone. So I don't want to surround myself with psychopaths.
Hmm.
you know, that they say anything boss said is, coming from the God, and I cannot question the authority. So that's my
Yeah.
second. So I need people who are smart. I
Hmm.
need people who can question bad decision or bad suggestions, or not such a good idea. And the last one is integrity.
Hmm.
I want people with high integrity. I don't like people who give me false data in order to make sure that I'm happy. I would rather get bad news with a total integrity and transparency. That look, this quarter is going to be bad. We are not getting our sales number, for example. Rather than saying, we have a very good pipeline. I
Hmm.
think there's a probability of converting some of the leads into sales. So I'm reasonably optimistic we'll meet the numbers. So integrity is integrity allows me to understand what's going wrong in my
Hmm.
business or what's going wrong in my investment. Then I have time to react, respond, and fix.
Perfect.
Now, these three category I look for. Now, to your most important thing, I will at times compromise on brain. So in other words, everybody is not going to be 130 IQ or, so okay,
Yeah.
someone is not like super smart, but good
Hmm.
enough.
Hmm.
Say, okay, I can live with it.
Hmm.
I can even compromise a little bit on guts. Someone people are shy, they don't like to speak up in public, but they like to come and talk to in private. I
Hmm.
disagree or this was the issue. On my BGI index, I'm okay to deal with people. They're not all Einstein IQ, nor expect that. As long as they are practical, smart, you know, so I can compromise. I don't want everyone like super smart per se. Secondly, on guts, as I said, people are shy, and while they want to speak up, but they want to do it in an environment where their comfort level is higher. So
Hmm.
I say, okay, as long as they do come and speak up. And
Yeah.
some people who by nature not confrontational, not argumentative. So I can say, okay, that's, but I never compromise on integrity.
Hmm. So we'll
Zero
go with
compromise.
that is a non-negotiable then.
That's totally non-negotiable. Doesn't matter how smart that person is, doesn't matter how much guts that person has. But if there is no integrity, I don't want to work with them. So these are my non-negotiables.
I'm going to interject and ask you this one question, which has been going on in my mind ever since you told me about the speaker point and the guts point. Have you had this kind of an opportunity or instance where a younger staff or a junior staff, you met somebody, you found him or her very competent, but the person lacked in spirit or guts? But how would you encourage them to come out of the cocoon and own the space? Because I feel it's so much more important. You have the capability, try and say it out in the open then.
It's an interesting point. See, you can, there are certain things you can change about people.
Hmm.
Okay. And certain traits are very difficult to change.
Okay.
Uh, okay. So, what you can change and what you cannot change, the behavior may be modified or can be changed. Uh, so, for example, if someone is non-confrontational, for
Hmm.
example, then not the confrontational I'm looking for, but finds that I have a tough time speaking up. Maybe they need in their childhood when they grew up, nobody gave them an opportunity to speak to a large audience, and they
Yeah.
were always shy. They just frozen out in front of
Yeah.
audience.
Yeah.
We have seen that the child going on a stage. Some kids are right away dancing and talking and other thing, and some kids are frozen.
Yeah.
Assistance in terms of providing public speaking classes or coaching or some sort of a opportunity to slowly get that stage fear out, if you want to call it.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
So you should assist them to grow in that direction or that particular behavior by providing proper guidance, as an example.
All right.
And it's changeable. However, some people by nature like a lot of attention, regardless of whether there is a valid point or not. Okay, it's a trait that it's a some sort of a complex.
Yeah.
Okay, now those traits are very very difficult to change. I found in my experience. So it all depends on what if it's a behavioral fix we can do.
Hmm. Okay. Slightly deeper. I want to know, was there a moment when growth tested your principles? I think I have an
So,
answer, but we'll ask it from you. When you were scaling up, was there ever an instance that growth tested principles?
yeah, I can give you, for example, instances in my own when I was building my own company.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and when I'm building a company, the most difficult part of building the company is how you manage people who are not performing to their goals or expectations. Okay, it happens. Now, half the humanity does not like to fire people
Hmm.
because it's you have this deep feeling inside
Yeah.
that what he will eat, what he will, how this person will do. And Western world is even worse than the Eastern world in that area. So there is a how do you deal with a non-performer or a mediocre performer, for example? And now, obviously, in my company, there are situations where such a situation does arise. I had an individual. I remember his name, but I won't go on a record. But
Yeah, yeah,
he was he did not meet his goals and expectations.
yeah. Okay.
And in an annual bonus or incentive, I decided to give him zero money. Even the company had a phenomenal earnings, fantastic, rewards. Stock price was significantly up, and most of the executive got their incentive and money. But this particular gentleman, for the name, I'll just call him Mr. Woody.
Okay.
So Mr. Woody did not get anything. So he was surprised that he got zero when the company was doing so well, stock was doing so well, everyone is happy. Why I'm getting zero? I came to work, I did all my work, then why I'm not getting any incentive? So it happened, and so he went and talked to, because some people were not comfortable coming and challenging CEO that why you gave me zero bonus. Okay. To our head of human resource.
Mm,
And she was a woman, Kathy. And Mr. Woody goes to Kathy and says, I don't know why I've got a zero bonus. How do I deal with it?
mm,
Can you help me? So Kathy felt also sorry for Mr. Woody. And
mm,
she came to see me and said, can I see you for a few minutes? I said, come on in. And I said, why did, sorry, got a zero bonus. I say didn't meet his goals. And bonus is designed for meeting or exceeding your goals. It's not designing coming to work and doing your work,
mm,
for which we pay salary. Okay. The incentive is to meet the goals that you established and meeting them. So she thought that it would be futile to argue with me.
mm.
So she went to his office.
Okay.
And she must have shared with Mr. Woody my answer. So Mr. Woody went to, I had a very senior executive among the top five in my team, and he was in charge of the marketing. And he went to him and said that, look, I helped you so much, and you got a huge bonus,
Mm,
and I got nothing.
mm,
This is not fair, you know. So please help me out with this. You talk to CEO. So that gentleman, the head of marketing, came to see me
mm.
and said, I must talk to you. And I said, come on in. And he said, you have no idea how much Woody helped me. I
Okay.
mean, I would not have achieved my goals if Woody wasn't there. And
Mm,
it's not that Woody doesn't get anything.
mm,
You should give him something.
mm.
I said, here is the deal. Woody met your objectives, not mine. So I have a deal for you. I'm willing to take portion of your bonus and willing to give him, since you are saying he helped you meet your goal.
Mm,
So how we deduct some of your bonus
mm.
and give it with Woody? He ran away from my office. You understand?
He would
So
not want to compromise on his.
yes. So there are people who advocate for others, but when it comes to their own feet, they run away. So
Yeah.
this is a classic case of behavior where I said this guy is a, is sort of a charity at other people's money.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, how do I change the behavior? I change the behavior of Mr. Woody that you stand on your own 2 feet
Mm,
and get your own goals accomplished. Let other gentlemen sit, because nobody is going to do charity out of their money to you. They love charity from other people's money.
yeah.
So it's an example of I've encountered people where I started suspecting the integrity issue
Yeah.
here.
All
Okay.
right. Perfect. Tell us, what was the hardest part of scale? Was it starting, accelerating, or stabilizing?
I would say starting is the hardest.
Okay.
Starting is the hardest because it's there's a lot of unknown. There's a continuous feedback coming as you try to start and make sure you keep refining and perfecting.
Hmm.
And at the time, you don't have, you are everything. You are, I call chief everything. You are chief executive, you're chief marketing, you're chief, sales, and you are chief janitor. Everything you are there.
Yeah.
So you pick up the coffee cup and put it in the garbage. You make your own coffee, right? And you go to the FedEx and drop the envelope, because you don't have the resources, a
Hmm.
luxury of resources. So it is, you have to have the ability to fly it like an eagle, you have to fly, that you can fly so high. At the same time, your eye is picking up a smallest particle and you just dive down,
Yeah.
from 500 feet to 2 feet or 2 inches.
Hmm.
That level of flight required in the startup.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
you have to be eagle eye, look around everything, but you should be able to come down to the ground very fast when
Hmm.
you see your food. So I have found startup is a little harder.
Okay.
Scaling up is even harder, but relatively, it's not as easy either. Okay.
All right. Okay.
The easiest part is stabilizing. Then it is a whole transformation of culture. And
Hmm.
transformation of culture, I find, is easier than the other first two steps.
All right. Tell us, Dr. Mehta, how do you make high stake decisions when, if suppose the information is incomplete?
This is also very difficult. So sometimes you take a baby step and rather
Okay.
than make a big decision. So what I had created, like in my own company, the main operations center, where the back office of the company,
Mm-hmm.
and then I had what we call testing lab.
Okay.
So if I want to implement a new idea, which is sounds very good on paper,
Hmm.
information is enough to say it's worth trying, but not good enough to say it will work.
Hmm.
Then I say, why don't we test it in the testing lab and see what market says?
Okay.
So, like example, when I sit on in many companies board in India, and now I'm retiring one after another, but I say, okay, let's open a branch in some area. Well, they
Hmm.
don't have enough information how that branch will perform.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
But then how do you go about it? Well, some people say, let's do a small branch and test it before we say we want to cover the whole area. Or
Hmm.
some say, no, 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 we are not in West Bengal, so let's put 50 branches in West Bengal, you
Hmm.
know, because that's an area we lack presence. So I said, no, put five, test it before you jump. So
Hmm.
the idea is baby steps. And then you learn that going in a different territory or going in a different marketing idea, what the market is telling you. And
Hmm.
market is the ultimate truth. Rest is all, theory. So in my view, I have found when the information is incomplete, but worth taking the risk, I
Hmm.
take calculated risk.
All right. Okay, beautifully answered. As we expected, we're going to take you to another segment, which is now the case study method. As you know, in MBA, case studies are pretty much a format. So, how about we treat your career like a business case? There goes my first question. If one decision from your life was to be taught in an MBA classroom, which one would it be?
This is an interesting question that you asked me. And I'll tell you why. There is a whole view on case study, but I won't go there for the moment. I would stay focused on your question. So, but to give you a little bit color on that, I was invited at Harvard. So my board member, one of my board member was Dr. Warren McFarland. He was a Harvard Business School super dean. And being my board member and seeing the way I built my company, he was extremely impressed. And he invited me to speak to a Harvard business class as a visiting lecturer for one session. And these are like top company CEOs. I had my co-lecturer, we had like two CEOs, first half, one, and second half, the other one, for the CEO of American Airlines. And, we had some of the top person and some Harvard students, senior students. And the same question they asked me that you asked me.
Okay.
Okay, what would you suggest? Okay, one thing.
Yeah.
And I said, don't believe in media.
Okay.
You cannot get your MBA by learning news because news is a business. Okay. So if you're going to make a business decision reading what is in media, you will be making big mistakes. Do
Hmm.
your media is for facts, ignore their opinion. Unless you develop a skill to separate between their narrative and opinion, be misled. So if you want to succeed, now that media has expanded. Those days only we had a print media and electronic media, okay, and audio, radio. Today, there is a social media, and there are more WhatsApp university graduates out there telling people, when to buy gold and when to sell silver and, all sorts of advice. And then there are people follow the blog. This guy is a genius. He has made a lot of money. All of that, I have nothing against it. But many people don't have the ability to filter. So unless we build that filtration capability, we're
Hmm.
going to get suckered into making bad decisions. So one thing is do your own research, get your own data, and don't rely on someone else's narrative or opinions. And media is lately becoming a big business where opinions, setting the narratives are priority because it generates enough advertising revenue.
True that. All
Yeah.
right. Now, I'm going to take you to a segment which is probably going to matter to a lot of students, especially because they will take cues and build on themselves. So the question goes, what does a typical day look like for you now?
Oh, now that's not appropriate for younger people to adopt, by the way, because I am at the stage in my life where I have a freedom to plan my day the way I want it, to be honest
Right.
with you. And so it allows me to plan it in a particular fashion. I have the flexibility to plan my day or my week, or my month, or my year, which may not be to everyone have that
Yes.
level of flexibility because partially it's the stage in my life and age of my life. Now, young people, when I say the word young, I mean anybody younger than me, okay? And not just only people in your age group or even people, so people who have active in business, in work, on whatever they do, they have a less of a flexibility
Yeah.
that I have, okay? If also the priorities are different. Today, my priorities are very different than perhaps your priority for that matter. So where I am today is my priority is, and I don't want to compromise one thing, the learning, curiosity, and developing new ideas and new thoughts. That part I don't quit. So like one of the priority for me is how to live healthy
Hmm.
at my stage I am in my life. And living long is important, but living healthy is even more important
Hmm.
to me. So I'm curious, and I'm also finding, if you said too much, trying to learn in geriatric sciences, for example. So, what do I eat? What do I, Also, if you look at it, the data is not adequate to believe on certain markers that medicine uses for people in my age or even people younger than me, but not too young. Those markers are based on a very thin file of data.
Hmm.
So, for example, 50 years back, not many people lived beyond 90s and 80s
Hmm.
compared to today. So the data is not there depth enough to say if you are crossing 80, all the markers we use when you were at 50 are valid for you also or not.
Hmm.
So they're based on those kinds. So my curious, my data science as I did my company is how do you said incomplete information here.
Hmm. Yeah.
You control your life from a health perspective. So putting that into perspective, I said, okay, my day starts, to be honest with you, is a small 20 minutes to 25 minutes of stretching my body because flexibility is very important. And therefore, I like to make my body very flexible. But most of my friends can't even sit down on the floor. And I can do yoga on the floor, sitting down, and I can still do Padmasana, for example.
Okay.
So there is a 20 minutes that I do. And then I would have my very healthy breakfast. And I have fortunately a good cook, maid, whatever. She makes my breakfast. And my breakfast is always a bowl of fruit. So I have berries. I love berries. And I think berries are, I found, one of the best food. anywhere. Even I'm in Mumbai, I got my berries to be delivered from Mahabaleshwar.
Okay.
But, they're antioxidant and they're very healthy, and I don't mind taking that sugar in the
Mm.
morning. I have my own, I buy organic, high quality coffee beans. I got a very good coffee machine, so make a very freshly ground coffee. It's my start. And then I have a whole concoction of healthy things, almond, walnut, quinoa, and cinnamon and cereal. And then I have, believe it or not, a third course of breakfast. And my hot food has to be more like an Indian taste. Okay.
Okay.
So it could be anything, South Indian dosa, idli, whatever. Then I start my morning business activity, just like I'm talking to you. So people are given time, get on the call. So I start with India first. As a people,
Okay.
before your call, I completed already one call. Okay.
Okay.
So I will say that people, before, because it becomes too late in India and because of
Mm-hmm.
12 and a half hours time difference. So I continue, I take care of my India business related or social or someone like your type of project calls. And I
Mm-hmm.
plan it in such a way that I don't overdo every day.
Hmm.
Believe it or not, after 6 days a week, I get 4 days like this. Okay.
Okay.
And then continuing on that trend, then I will focus on US and look in my business related investment portfolio, etc. until lunch.
Hmm.
Again, my lunch is very fixed. I don't eat anything overcooked. So my
Hmm.
lunch is always a fruit, a soup, a salad, and a slice of freshly made, we bring up bread every other day, sourdough bread toast. One slice. That's it. That's my lunch. And that's it. This is all part of my study of geriatric science. If you ask me. And then I would continue my work until 1:30, 2 o'clock. Then take a power nap of 20 minutes. And then I get up and then I would uh, come to my office and do what I wanted to do. I have some always things to do, business related. And I
Hmm.
continue doing it till 5:30. Then I go to gym.
Okay.
And from 5:30 to I would say 6:45, 6 o'clock. Different day, different routines. There are weight routines. There is a walk. There is a bicycling, etc. And then around that time, I either we have a social life that we step out to go
Hmm.
out, or if you're eating home, then I will have my early dinner. Probably I like to finish my dinner by 8:15, 8:30. So that's my typical day.
All right, beautiful. We're very glad that you took us through the entire thing in as much details as you could. Lucky us. Brings me to the next question. How do you stay mentally sharp and ahead of trends? You're so on point with everything. How do you do that?
Be busy, try to not retire. As a matter of fact, some people say that now I don't want to think about it. I'm done. I've done everything I was supposed to do. And I find that to remain mentally sharp, oh, I read a lot, by the way. I read a
Okay.
lot. So before going to bed, I probably would read. And I have a wide choice of books I read. And I like to read fiction before going to bed so I can fall asleep without worrying too much about
Hmm.
anything.
I'm also
But
going to ask a very Gen Z question. Do not watch anything on OTT, no Netflix, no Amazon Prime, no
I
Apple TV.
watch I watch with my wife for about half an hour to 45 minutes.
Okay,
Okay.
that's helping me breathe.
Max 15 minutes, max 15 minutes, or max 1 hour. Only because by the time I start feeling sleepy. So I said, I
Okay.
want to. But we do. It's not that I totally not want to watch any TV or anything. But
I mean, honestly,
TV,
this is making
TV
me feel
or
comfortable.
OTT or anything in my life is less than an hour a day, maybe hour and 15 minutes. So maybe 1.5 hours if there's a major news. Like for example, if the Federal Reserve Governor is going to speak on the after interest rate, then I may watch half an hour of his after open market committee meeting.
Hmm.
So if there's a certain business news or big global news, but as far as entertainment part is concerned, my daily limit is no more than an hour at
Do you
most.
have do you have any favorite series on any of the mediums?
I watch legal thrillers because it
Okay.
gives me mentally sharp.
All right.
Me, legal thrillers because how this person from a very difficult situation, but being innocent, is going to come out in a
Dr. Mehta, I feel like I'm sensing strategy even in
correct
watching.
legal thrillers, political thrillers. Uh, I just don't like silly comedies, you know.
Hmm. Hmm.
So, but I do like comedy, but I like a good comedy. I do
All
like
right.
it. Thrillers and comedies. I do
Oh,
enjoy some stand-up comedians, some comments I love. It's a old court jesters to keep the emperor honest, type of a thing. So
yeah.
yeah,
I'm going to take you to the next question, which is we spoke about the teams and we spoke about what is it that what the non-negotiables were when you were building a team or you hire somebody. What are the things that you particularly are very focused on? Now, do you actively seek out younger voices and opposing views? Is that like a practice you kind of nurture in the talent around you?
I don't seek out actively, but it happens more
Hmm.
like. See, things, I don't like to manage things as
Hmm.
much as I like to, for example, you know, I'm hiring young people at times
Mm-hmm.
because I want them to inculcate in a culture I'm building in my business.
Okay.
Younger people are easier to align in the culture
Mm-hmm.
than if I go for a very seasoned professional
Yeah.
because that person has gone through one or two or three different cultures and has a harder time, to adjust.
Yeah.
But sometimes that creates that conflict when I have someone very seasoned and someone very young. So then it is the fun part, you
Hmm.
know. But it happens. I don't manage it by creating hiring. As I said, hiring is very simple to me.
Hmm.
Brain and integrity. Okay.
All right.
And
So,
of course, I need the skills. Without skills, I can't do anything.
yeah.
But uh, I like to create. I generally found that younger people in my early days of my startup and the development part of it turn out to be far more productive
Hmm.
to build the company
Because I
because they
feel,
were enthusiastic with ideas and enthusiastic about try something new. They
yeah.
were not masked by any past cultural, oh, this never works, I've tried a dozen times kind of an
Yeah.
attitude.
Kind of feel like, yeah, you have
But
that spunk and you want to see how things work out. So you're very open for those permutations, combinations early on. And very
yes,
rightly said, people, seasoned people, they're very fixated. Sometimes they don't even realize. And then
mm,
it gets challenging to bring
mm,
them onto a new project and kind of make it work because then it takes a lot of effort, kills the joy of the team.
correct, correct. So that is the way. And I still have a funny question. When I generally my bias was to be younger people. Let me be honest with you, in my
Hmm.
company. But every now and then I get a pressure to hire some senior people, executives, because someone is too young to run such a large department. And
Yeah.
so then now and then I have to keep, you have to be practical. As I said, you have to manage all constituencies, and I have
Mm-hmm.
to manage my board
Hmm.
also. No, 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 you are hiring too many young people.
Hmm.
My primary source of hiring was Stanford and Berkeley. I got
Okay.
most of it because my company was headquartered in San Francisco.
Okay.
And but so I hired, and sometimes I let them run their show in a way that they would eventually come to a conclusion. But I had this specific instance to hire someone, a senior vice president from Bank of America,
Hmm.
and it was a big hire for us to bring someone in head of marketing from Bank of America. And Bank of America is beautiful tower on the 555 California Street,
Hmm.
and great view of both the bridges, Golden Gate Bridge, Gay Bridge, etc. Now this gentleman said that I'm joining this early stage company. We were not startup, but we were still small company. And therefore, I come with a little bit of air. Prior to that, I was with Citibank, and the Bank of America paid me a significant package to brought me from New York to San Francisco,
Hmm.
and I need a big package from you.
Hmm. Hmm.
So as part of negotiation, I thought that maybe I should give him a good package.
Hmm.
Now, what we found amusing, to be honest with you, the package we offered him,
Yeah.
he came back and says, no, 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 I need to negotiate. So we were surprised. It's a pretty nice package we offered. And my head of HR, Kathy, again, said that this Walter is kind of saying that this is not, he wants to negotiate the package. So I said, okay, get his proposal and see what it is. So his proposal came, and Kathy came to my office and said, would you believe it? And I said, what? He's asking for less than what we are offering, and he's negotiating. So I said, my God, this guy is a dumb guy. How am I hiring him? This is total failure on brain. This guy was negotiating because he thought he was smart, and these young people won't understand what his experience is telling them. He was more worried about size of his office. Okay,
Yeah.
it's more important to him, willing to let go some options.
Hmm.
Uh, I said, give him the best view, give him bigger office than the CEO. Don't worry.
Well,
And
people have their preferences, right? Sometimes it's hard to
but I
justify.
had to I had to hire him because I have to also please the whole constituency that I hired a senior executive in a growing
Yeah.
company. That kept my board happy, that kept the regulators happy, that you're some real banker, not all this Berkeley, Stanford, super sharp gunslingers.
Yeah.
So uh,
Well,
but and I used to always laugh. I said, okay, you want a big house or a big office? Make up your mind, you know. And some people would rather go for a big office and small house. And some of my young people say, no, no, I don't care working in a booth, but give me a big house. So the
well,
question is, you know, but this is a true story. So we gave him the corner office, believe it or
hmm,
not, and I said, make sure it's larger than mine,
hmm.
you know.
Okay, okay.
And he was happy, and we had to pay him less to get him more on board.
Well, kind of worked out in a way, no?
Yeah.
As they say,
So
you got to do what you got to do. Kind of worked out for him, worked out for the board, sorted you.
yes, and I know he's not going to last very long anyway. He's on in the office. But anyway, because I know that if I can't let him negotiate anything, knowing the
Hmm.
way he negotiates. So one thing I know that, I don't want him to sign any marketing contract,
Hmm.
or advertising contract or anything. He had a silly idea of putting the picture of our application on a Coke can. And I said, how people are going to send me Coke can in mail, you
Hmm.
know. So, but but he was a senior vice president of Bank of America. Prior to that, he was a senior vice president at Citibank. So there are people like that. We do
Hmm.
come across. Yeah.
All right. Okay, fun chat. I'm going to bring you to another segment now. So, we're going to now talk about vision and responsibility. As someone who's built across decades, what responsibility do successful leaders have towards education and institutions?
I think successful leaders have to make sure that the best way, the education to me is the number one.
Yeah.
And it's just individual. Everyone has a different thing. What education does is not just provides you the skills, the skills are critical at times,
Mm-hmm.
but it opens your mind to
Hmm.
see the broader picture, to see big things, to
Mm-hmm.
to you have a different view of the world. What I call, is a second pair of eyes. One is your eyes that you see. The other pair of eyes is the eye of knowledge.
Hmm.
So you see the perspective, the global view or something. Yeah, it says how to, you accept different people the way they are. You accept different culture if they are. You uh, get the best out of everybody, the people, culture. You like, I love Indian music. So I'm so lucky to have grown up as an Indian. And now my kids, I want them to also learn Indian music.
Hmm.
My grandson is an excellent tabla player,
Hmm.
and he's also an excellent drum player. So he plays both for the school's band. He's in the school band.
Interesting.
So education to me is not just for getting a degree
Yeah.
and getting a job.
Mhm.
It's a significantly enhance your quality of life.
One gets to
But
know what what domains interest you, and then if you want to make a career or just want to experiment, create it like a hobby. But education should open up different avenues for you, make you learn things about yourself you never knew before.
Yes. And it also, if you are properly educated, it builds a self-confidence.
100%, 100%.
Yes.
Love
You're
the
not
answer.
dependent on someone's mercy,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because you
So that's
kind of
why
build.
I invest in education. That's why I donate in education, because I want more people to, get that. And then that education, along with ability to do people skills arbitrage, makes you a great leader. So,
Yes.
and leaders, well educated, not the way the degree, okay,
Yeah.
but who understand the diversity, who understand the culture, create a business or even a government that is very good for uh, overall. That whether if it's a business for your employees, if it's a family, then for your family members, So to me, I enjoy my life more than I enjoy my money because I have developed so many multiple hobbies and interests because of the education that I would not have had it if I would have narrowed vision of the world.
Yeah. Brings me to the next question. When you invest in education, what are you trying to really shape? Is it skill, character, or long term national capability?
I don't particularly specifically invest in designing what should be taught.
Hmm.
That I leave it to the
Institution.
universities or schools. What I do say that in the to challenge them,
Hmm.
the fixated uh,
Set.
narrative of education. Like for example, when I give money to IIT business schools,
Hmm.
I don't decide the curriculum, but I challenge the curriculum. For example,
Okay.
I said if someone is going to today an automobile engineer, should he be in the department of mechanical engineering? Should he be department in the electrical engineering?
Hmm.
Should he be chemical engineering or computers and electronics? Because today's automobile, if you
Hmm.
are, there's more electronics in a car than an internal combustion engine, for
Hmm.
example. And then there is a more in EV chemistry and chemical engineering for the battery technology
Hmm.
needed. So given this thing, and you need lots of communication and networking when the
Hmm.
car is in touch with the uh, networking. So old barriers, how are you going to
Yeah.
break it? How are you going to create a curriculum that makes you a complete education? So the traditional barriers need to be revisited. So I
Yeah.
challenge that way. I just challenge to my business school to my faculty member when they love talking to me, and then I give them a. I said to them, okay, that why don't you ask students to build a company in a digital economy? How would you build a company in a digital economy? So when you talk about case study, I said, why don't you
Hmm.
create a couple of case study to build a company in a digital economy?
Yeah.
Now, the company themselves don't know how to build a company in a digital economy
Okay, that's
sometimes.
kind of a disappointing, right? We don't expect
Uh,
that.
it's disappointing, but they are dedicated. I see the problem is, again, it depends on which part of the world you are in. When I'm in
Yeah.
India, India is a very rigid world, very rigid, India. Whereas when I'm in US, it's very fluid. Okay. So it's easier for me to tell the dean of Weatherhead that
Hmm.
I want to create this school of artificial intelligence and AI. Let's
Hmm.
decide how we're
Hmm.
going to get the best person on the team.
Hmm.
Okay. So if someone is doing very well in this area at Imperial College in London, just draft him, bring him here.
Yeah.
India, you can't do those kind of decisions easily. It's very rigid system.
Do you
You
think it's
cannot.
bureaucracy, hierarchy, and all of that?
Yes.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Uh,
we expect the times will change, and there is so much talent in India. They will find their roots. They are finding their roots and their way, but I think it's just a matter of time.
it's a matter of time. I told you, it's a matter of
Yeah,
time. I
we
think
spoke
there's a,
about it.
yeah. Once your generation comes in a takeover mode, it will change fast.
Let's go.
Yeah.